Tell us, first of all, what was his demeanor? Did he seem that he acknowledged what had happened and that he felt a certain sense of responsibility or remorse?
Well, he definitely took responsibility for this. And, you know, Suzanne, during this court proceeding, Jesse Jackson Jr., several times he looked back at his parents who were in the courtroom. And that key moment when the judge asked him, how do you plead? He looked directly at them and then he dabbed his eyes. He turned back to the judge and he said, guilty, Your Honor. Jesse Jackson Jr. also told the judge, quote, I used monies that should have been for campaign purposes. He is pleading guilty to a felony. This is a felony, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, mail fraud, and false statements. The judge also asked him about his state of mind, you know, getting a sense of was he aware of what was happening in the proceedings. As you well know, Jackson has said that he suffers from depression and bipolar disease, and in fact he acknowledged in the court that he was a patient for a while at the Mayo Clinic. But Jackson's attorney told the press that this is the beginning of a new day and that he is optimistic.
I will answer a question that I've received many times, and it's a question about how he's doing. It turns out that Jesse has serious health issues. Many of you know about them. We're going to talk about them extensively with the court, and those health issues are directly related to his present predicament. That's not an excuse, that's just a fact. And Jesse's turned the corner there as well, and I think there's reason for optimism here too.
And Suzanne, I'm going to just point out, you can probably see there, you can see Judy Smith. She is the crisis manager who has been involved in so many high-profile cases here in Washington. In fact, there's a TV show that's now based on her career. So she is involved here. And I can tell you what led up to this point, what led up to this day, is the lawyers and the prosecution, they've actually been talking, and the prosecution and the defense, they have actually a plea agreement. And as part of that agreement, they have said that a sentence of about 3 to 4 years and a fine between, say, $10,000 and $100,000, that would be appropriate. But it is ultimately going to be the judge's discretion. The judge could sentence to him as much as 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. His sentencing scheduled for June 28th, Suzanne.
Okay. Thank